Good morning, everyone. We're going to start just a little bit early here. Want to make sure everybody can get logged in, but I want to start by saying thanks for being here with us today. As of today, Friday, March 27th at 10 a.m., the information that we're going to share with you is the information that we know today, but that could change. I know that you've all been watching the news and things change pretty rapidly. The same is happening with us at the school. So what we did is put together our own District 289 expectations, and we're going to move forward with those and share those with you today. And so some of the questions that have come in already are things about the future that we honestly don't have the answers for. But every chance we get, we're going to update you with the information that we have. So we thank you for logging in today and sharing our time with us. We'll do our best to answer all the questions that you have. Again, for those of you just tuning in, today, March 27th at 10 a.m., this is the information that we have. We have not received any updates from our governor or ISB at this point in time that talk about the end of the school year or extensions or anything of that nature. As of today, our return date for school is April 8th. And so if anything changes from that, we'll certainly let you know. But it's my pleasure to turn it over to our building principal chat, and they're going to take questions.
Hi everyone, good to see you. We're going to start out with informational items that we have received a ton of questions about from parents and teachers. We're going to go through all of those, and then we're going to hit some questions that we've received individually or overnight, and we're going to talk about those. So the first thing is that the third quarter will officially end on Friday, April 3rd. That means 1 week from today. We will be taking work in from the past. Students who have Fs could potentially move to Ds, and grades will not affect your student negatively. They will only affect your student positively. And so each building is going to be handling this a little bit different based on the grade levels. So I think we'll talk about that per building, starting with Blackstone.
Okay, so we, as you all know, hopefully you log into TeacherEase on a regular basis to check your child's grades. So we did a lot of our third quarter stuff right before we left. We were close to the end of the quarter, so most of Blackstone's grades are currently in there. And the assignments that we've been doing just recently while we've been home so far have been review activities. So you can look for more information to come home over the weekend or next week as far as grades and what that will look like for Blackstone.
For Lincoln, it's similar as Blackstone. Our grades are in, and our packets that went home have about one more week till they're finished. And so I would say continue working on the packet or continue to check the teacher's Google Classroom for other activities. The teachers are currently working on putting together new packets that we will distribute, and more information on that will come out in the coming week.
And so for Northbrook, 5th through 8th grade, 5th grade, each classroom, the expectation is going to be that the students are checking in on the Google Classroom with, I just said the Google Classroom because I'm over 50, that the students will check in with each individual teacher, and that teacher will lay out the expectations via Google Classroom. 6th through 8th grade is going to look a little bit different. The teams are working together right now, as we've just laid this out for all the teachers last night. They're working together right now to create a cohesive plan. The expectation for 6th or 8th grade is that the student is checking into each teacher's Google Classroom. They aren't going to be, it's not going to be a 47-minute period, obviously, but each teacher will have an expectation for the student. Do you want to talk about the MobyMax or?
Sure.
Okay.
So next we're going to kind of go through what next week, starting on Monday, March 30th is going to look like academically for all three of the buildings. And we've had a lot of discussions about this as an administrative team. We've had discussions with our teachers as well. They've been wonderful still.
Absolutely.
Learning new things and investigating things and spending a lot of time trying to see what would be the most beneficial and the most practical to do at home as well. So again, thank you for all your help with that, teachers. So Monday, we are going to officially be starting e-learning, and we are still working on rolling that out, exactly what it's going to look like for each building. We are having conversations with our teachers as we continue to tweak that. But attendance, and I can just share, again, we're going to go through each building, what attendance and curriculum will look like starting on Monday for Blackstone. So we will be taking attendance, and we will be doing that through Google Classroom to start next week. I've had many parents call or email to talk about how they are having difficulty getting onto Google Classroom, and I think the one thing I'd like to share with parents is please remember that you have to use your student's email. We're finding that many parents are trying to log in using their own personal Gmail account, and they're saying that the code's not working, but in order for the code to work, you have to make sure you're using your child's District 289 email. We sent a pink sheet home before we left that last Monday, and it walks you exactly through how to do that. It's also posted on our webpage, Blackstone's webpage, that informational sheet. If you're not sure what your child's email is, it is there as well. It's their first and last name at m289.org, and the password is bears123. So that is the way that you need to get into Google Classroom. I've had so many parents get in this past week, but I can't urge you enough that you really need to get into Google Classroom and get this set up and get your child joined, because you're going to be needing that in the near future. So we will be taking attendance on Monday at Blackstone through Google Classroom. Teachers will be posting a question of the day where students will have to respond, and that will be our attendance check. When we sent packets home, we sent enough home for 3 weeks. So this coming week would be your last set. It would be week 3 in those learning packets that students can continue to work on this next week. We also have teachers posting amazing things on their Google Classroom, like websites and different learning activities, and we're encouraging parents to get in with their child and help them do that as well. Something that will be starting district-wide also is a program called MobyMax, and we have teachers going through some training and having conversations about that right now. And teachers are going to they have been spending the last few days looking at that, and also will be spending more time next week investigating what that's going to look like at each grade level. The part of MobyMax that we really like is there's a placement test, and students will be able to work at their own levels. So that is really exciting to meet all of our learners' needs. So we'll be coming out at Blackstone with more packets for the following weeks after this next week, and you'll be getting information, phone call, email from me as far as how we're going to get that packet to you. So in addition to that, Blackstone students will also be doing MobyMax, but we'll let you know when that's ready to start. We'll have to get you your child's password, username and password, so you'll be able to access that at home. That's all for Blackstone.
Okay. Lincoln is going to sound very similar to Blackstone. We will want the students to log in and take attendance through Google Classroom and just simply answer the question that the teacher will post in the morning. That way we know, we can mark you as present. And also, like I said earlier, continue with the work that was sent home a couple weeks ago. We're coming up to the final week of that, and as soon as we get more packets, you'll be hearing from me through email, the phone, on a date and procedure, so to come get the packets from us, or how we will send them to you. That's still a work in progress, but you will hear from me about the new upcoming packet. And I would, and they're going to have a MobyMax account as well, and we'll get that information, that login information, out to Lincoln families as well. But I think for all of us, I would stress that do the best you can with the packets, and with the MobyMax, it's gonna be different. I don't know if I would be out of line saying it's not really an all-day kind of
No.
thing, just maybe a couple hours or an hour, whatever your child can handle, every day. You know, every little bit counts, and it'll help, and we very much appreciate it. And if you have any questions about the packets or MobyMax when that gets rolled out, please don't hesitate to contact a teacher, contact me. You know, right now, email might be the best way to get a hold of me, but I do check the messages at school, so whatever works best for you.
So for Northbrook, it's imperative the kids are logged into their Google Classroom, their teacher's Google Classroom with their Gmail. Prior to leaving, we made sure that everybody was able to do that. And so every student should not have an issue logging in. I feel like most of them already have. We will also be using MobyMax. We are spending time training the teachers. Again, I can't reiterate this enough with Mrs. Kelly and Mr. Lawrence, Dr. Lawrence, how amazing the teachers have been. It's not enough that we said, here, you have 12 hours to pack everything and send it home with the kids. Here, you have a weekend to learn an entire online teaching platform to roll out. So we're gonna experiment a little bit with it next week. We're getting all set up and ready for it. So be patient, but check those Google Classrooms. Your teachers are the leaders. They are going to help you and your student. This isn't meant to be a we gotcha. This isn't meant to be anything other than a great learning experience to take them to the next level. So just be patient with us as we roll things out, and your teachers are going to be your guides, and we are here to assist the teachers.
The next one?
Yep, and we are seeing your questions and we're rolling through them, so we're gonna, if we don't hit your questions as we go through the information piece, please be sure to add them to the live program.
Okay, one of the questions asked us some information that we were going to share anyway, so, but it's what if you don't have a device? We will be distributing Chromebooks next week, but the criteria that is going to be in place to get a Chromebook is you'll get a Chromebook if you only have a device like a phone or nothing at all. So if you have a phone or nothing at all, please take advantage of loaning out one of our Chromebooks. We're going to have one Chromebook per family, and you must sign a technology waiver which makes you accountable for any damages or if the Chromebook is not returned. School Chromebooks may only be used for e-learning and no other purposes, so we can't unfortunately go shopping on it.
I don't know what you're speaking of.
As tempting as that would be. You must call the school at 815-539-6237 to leave your student's name, grade, your name, and phone number, and we will contact you regarding a pickup time, which will be at Northbrook next week.
Can you repeat that?
And that, again, that number is 815-539-6237. Leave your name, your student's name and grade, and your phone number, and we will contact you when it's time to distribute those Chromebooks. And importantly, if you know of someone who needs a device, please either call them and have them call the school, or let us know by contacting one of the schools or emailing any of us here, so we can reach out to that family and get them a Chromebook if they really need one and want one.
Mm-hmm. So we are making them available, and we have cords, we have everything ready to go. We aren't sure what the pickup process is going to be, as we are trying to follow all of the health mandates of being as careful as possible. So as soon as we lay that out by next week, I'm guessing by Tuesday we'll be ready to pass those out. So make sure that you make those phone calls and leave that information we asked for. 815-539-6237. We need your student's name, the student's grade, the parent guardian name, and your phone number.
I have one question. What if I don't have a device and I can't log in to classroom on Monday? Is my child going to be penalized on attendance or anything?
No, if we have that you don't have a device, we will definitely, we have a document that is shared between the 3 building administrators so we know who does not have a device. We've been keeping track. I've already had a few students, believe it or not, I'm very proud of them, reaching out and telling me that they needed some help.
And sorry, I'm gonna pop in real quickly. I know there have been some questions about how do we reach people in the district. We do have essential staff on a rotating basis coming through. We have everyone monitoring in the offices and the administrative team monitoring either from home or rotating through. So please leave a message with your phone number and all the information of your question, or email any of the administrators, or like I said, phone call or email is the best. You can also leave your question on Facebook and we will get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, so one of the next things after we talked about being able to hand out devices to those parents and families that don't have it, what about if you don't have internet access at home? So there have been many opportunities from different places to be able to access free internet from home. So if you don't have internet, Comcast is providing free internet to students who are doing e-learning. You can contact them at www.internetessentials.com or comcast.net. Again, that is www.internetessentials.com or comcast.net. We have heard that AT&T is possibly doing this as well. I don't have the details of that right now, but if we do get that information, we'll share it as well.
And Xfinity.
And, which is Comcast.
Yeah,
Xfinity's
Comcast.
That's what we have at home, that's why.
It's okay, doctor school.
So that is essential for parents, and such a nice thing for parents to be able to access if you don't have that internet at home, because we do understand that many of our families do not. The next thing we wanted to talk about was the delivery of lunches, and I want to thank our kitchen staff who've been coming in and getting these meals prepared for our students, and I also want to thank the bus drivers for driving these lunches around, and also to the many volunteers, whether they've been District 289 staff or community members that have been riding the buses and handing out the meals to the students. We greatly appreciate your time and help with that, because we really do want to make sure our students are being fed during this time home. If you are on the list and you haven't picked up your lunch though, for 2 days in a row, we are going to remove you from the list, and you'll need to call to be put back on the list. We're starting to find that we have families that aren't showing up to get their lunches, so for us it's hard to tell if they no longer want them, or what the situation is and why they're not getting them. But it's very important that we have an accurate count of how many lunches that the kitchen staff does need to be making to take out each day on those buses to get to the kids. So again, if you are on the list and you're not, if you've decided all of a sudden you don't want them, we would appreciate if you could give us a call and let us know that. But also, if you don't show up for 2 days, we'll be taking you off the list. But if you want to get back on, just call us and we'll put you back on.
And I want to say a special thank you. I know that Mrs. Kelly just mentioned names, but Missy Krull and Lynette Cleary, thank you, thank you, thank you. They are the heart and soul of putting these lunches together. You guys rock.
So I want to go backwards a little bit before I go forwards. I'm getting a lot of questions that are saying that you absolutely can't get internet because of where you live. If that is the case and you live so rural or whatever it is that you can't get internet, please email your building principal and we will help you out with that. We'll work around it. We'll figure out. We believe that should be very few of you, and so just let us know and we will help you out. The next informational item is Washington, D.C. I've gotten a lot of questions about Washington, D.C. The trip as of yet, is not canceled. So Mrs. Vidigar and Mr. Shepard have been sending out emails as often as they're receiving information from World Strides. I believe it's World Strides. I'm going to read to you from Mrs. Vidigar's email. It says, the cancellation date of March 31st has now been pushed back to May 10th. That means you personally, as a parent, may choose to cancel the trip, and you can decide if you want to cancel. The same goes with the insurance. If you have insurance, you are all set and you will get a refund. If not, you have until May 10th to decide if you want to further decide if you want to cancel. If you cancel before that date, if you cancel before May 10th, you will get 75% of your funds returned. Okay? So, any questions regarding Washington, D.C. should go right to Mrs. Vidigar and Mr. Shepard. They are working with the company, but you have till May 10th. I also want to let you know, prior to the shutdown last Saturday at 5:30, the butter bread company came and made an emergency delivery so that we didn't have to worry about it. The butter braids are at Northbrook in the freezer. I think next week I'll be calling families one or two at a time. If you choose to pick them up, if you don't want to and take that risk, I totally understand. But the butter braids are completely safe and locked in a freezer. We're doing everything we can to protect those butter braids.
Okay, the next piece of information we want to give out is that you're seeing in the media that there are groups of people still congregating around in different cities and things like that. And when we've been asked to shelter in place at home, we're going to be closing all of our school playgrounds at this time. We're trying to help flatten the curve, as they're asking us to do, and keeping the spread of COVID-19 away from the schools and our playgrounds. I think, and the track as well, yes. I can tell you that I've had seen large groups of kids at Blackstone on the playground playing, and I totally get that. They want to get out, they want to get fresh air, exercise, and be with their friends. But as we're trying to fight this as a country and as a world, we have to respect that advice from the government and flattening that curve. So the playgrounds and the track will be closed, and we hope that you'll cooperate with us on that and keeping an eye on where your children are at.
Yeah.
Okay. And another interesting, I have been getting some phone calls at Lincoln, and I don't know about the other two buildings, but it just kind of didn't dawn on us that when the kids left on that Monday to go home, some of them had forgotten important things like their glasses or a coat that they need. So I went and found those items and made arrangements to get them back home. But if your student left something of importance, such as glasses or an e-reading device, please call the building that your student attends, and we will make arrangements to find that and get it back to you, because we know those things are important and they need to get back to the students' hands.
Mm-hmm. And some people are posting questions such as, will we post phone numbers for Comcast and such? We will. We'll get that up and running for you as soon as we're done here. One of the questions I received was also about the 8th graders, and should we send in the cap and gown order? We truly believe we're going to be back on April 8th. We haven't been told differently. That could change the second we disconnect from this. So my advice would be to hang on to it for one more week. If you want to send me your name and student's name via email, pdaley@m289.org, and I'll just keep track of those that aren't in yet, and we'll cover it until decisions are made. But I understand that we're all kind of hanging on to that and we're all just waiting. I understand that. We're trying to do the best that we can as we wait for information as well.
One of the questions that we got was, will there be a time frame for attendance? When I shared earlier that we will be taking attendance starting next week, we totally understand and respect the fact that many of you parents are still out there working, you're essential employees. So learning might not take place first thing in the morning or by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's okay if it's later in the afternoon, and some kids we're seeing are even on at night, and that is okay. So there won't be a time frame. It will have to be sometime throughout the course of the day that you'll have to log in and take your child's attendance for us, and we will be checking that the following morning to see who was on the day before. So we're not going to narrow it down and say that you have to have attendance submitted between 8 and noon, or your child has to do the work between 8 and noon. It'll be flexible for you at home and what works best for your family.
Right, and teachers are going to be logged on and available from 8 to 1. We're all in a unique situation. The teachers are home with their own children, just like you're home with yours. Everybody's trying to work from home. It's made for some very interesting Zoom conferences this past week with the teachers. We've enjoyed it greatly. So everybody's got to be a little willing to give and take. Maybe that teacher might not get back to you within a really quick amount of time, but they might be feeding their baby. So those are all things that we need to remember and be patient about. Our buildings are closed except for Missy Krull and Lynette Cleary. You guys are awesome. But you can get a hold of us at any time next week. We'll be passing out things. The packets at the end of the week, the Chromebooks, things like that. So we will be available, but your best bet is an email or a phone call. The best place to find every ounce of information, anything you could ever want for e-learning, students with IEPs, how to get a hold of us is at the website, www.m289.org.
I just put all the phone numbers up.
And I see, can you put AT&T? Okay, so AT&T and Comcast, we'll put those information, we'll get that information up as well. People want to know, how do they hand in completed packets, Mrs. Kelly and Dr. Lawrence?
Well,
How would you?
Go ahead, do you want?
Oh, I was gonna say, we'll make arrangements when we do the packet distribution. We can pick them up at that time, or.
I'm encouraging parents to hold on to them for
Yeah.
right now until we get more definitive information from the state of Illinois.
Until we know what the real timeline.
Until we know what the real timeline is for us possibly coming back to school. You know, if something were to change and we weren't coming back for a longer period of time, we will definitely address that and let parents know. But for now, you know, I've had parents ask, can I drop them off at Blackstone? Can I mail them to you? Right now, I would just suggest putting them in a safe place at home and holding on to them, and we can get you more information. And that'll be the same for the new packets that'll be coming home as well. Mrs. Daly mentioned a little bit ago about Zoom and us using that with teachers. And there's a lot out in the media. You might have seen it, what Zoom is and how you can do video conferencing and interactions with others live and have meetings or things like that. And we have been doing that with our teachers and as an admin staff to practice the social distancing, but it's essential that we continue to communicate with each other. And I've had some teachers do this with their classroom. I've joined in as well on a couple, and the kids are so excited to see each other and talk to each other. And, you know, we've had a question of, is Zoom safe? And right now we can tell you in all of our research that it's the only one that's HIPAA approved out there right now. So it is a tool that we're going to be using. I'm going to be talking with my staff about how we can use it more and how I plan to use it more with students and families as well in the coming week. But that was a question as well, as far as how safe is Zoom to use. If it's something you're not comfortable with, it's not a requirement, so that would be up to your own discretion.
Right, and so the Northbrook teachers are taking two approaches. So in their classrooms, they're setting up Google Meets spots. All students have that already on their Gmail, and it's a simple way to catch up with kids and talk to kids. They're setting up definitive times for kids to meet with the teachers. They're using that because it's more social. It's a more social interaction. That's what they're using. We're using Zoom when we're having meetings, IEP meetings, any sort of meeting like that. You can use either one, and they're both great tools to use.
Can you go over the passwords and the email information again?
Sure.
Yes, I cannot.
I can for
Okay.
Blackstone.
Yeah.
For kindergarten and first grade students, again, you should have gotten a pink sheet that came home, and it walks you exactly through what to do and how to log on. And our IT department, again, has continued to do a great job, and they've made a short video on our webpage as to how to access Google Classroom if you're not familiar with it. I totally understand if you're not, it's new to a lot of us as well. But to log on for kindergarten and first grade, you have to use the student's Gmail account, the school's Gmail account, and it would be their first and last name, all lowercase letters, at m289.org, and their password, all of their passwords are bears, lowercase, 1, 2, 3. So that is how Blackstone students access their Google account.
For Lincoln, again, their email is going to be the same as Blackstone's format, but I honestly don't know the passwords, but I will find out and get a message out to everybody very soon, so you can log on and explore with your student.
Right, Northbrook is the same thing. It's the exact same way to log on to an email, and I don't know the password. I think theirs are by grade level. So what I will do is we will post that along on this communication here, and we'll send it out via Teacher Ease as well.
I think one other thing that the district is doing right now that is worthy of sharing is that we have many staff members in the district that are posting videos. We have our own YouTube channel now, and we're seeing staff members read books, tell jokes, do science experiments, a variety of different things.
Absolutely.
Draw frogs, and
Make a tie.
how to tie a tie. And so if you haven't accessed that yet, I encourage you to try that out and let your students see some of these videos. It's great for the kids to be able to see the teachers' faces, and it's, I appreciate all the staff members who are volunteering to do this, and we're going to continue to try to get more participation as time goes on to put these things out for our families while we're off.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. We just got
Breaking news.
breaking news on Facebook Live.
That was awesome.
Mr. Slater from Northbrook, the technology teacher, said that students' passwords are chosen by the students. So if they don't know it, that's on them. We'll work with them.
And my breaking news from Lincoln is Mrs. Klein. Thank you, by the way, Mrs. Klein. Our passwords are Lions289 with a capital L. Lions289 with a capital L.
Awesome.
So thank you to
Yes,
everybody
thank you.
for helping us out. That was amazing. Any other questions that we're seeing?
Expectations for logging in and the time they need to log in?
Yeah, so I think that we all have we understand that everybody's under a different issue at their house and doing different things, and maybe mom or dad need the laptop to do their job before the kids can have the laptop. So we do want everybody to log in every day. That is our expectation, that every student log into their school, their teacher, Google Classroom, each of their teachers, if they're in 6th or 8th grade. That is the expectation, is that they're on every single day. We will be taking attendance, as we said. Teacher Ease is working fast and furious to create an e-learning check-in so that we can take attendance just like we do normally through Teacher Ease. And as soon as that button is up and running, I have a feeling one of our administrators' sons may be testing it out for us, and so that we can
think that would be me.
so that we can find out how that works exactly. And as soon as that works, that's going to be amazing for everybody and help us out.
I think what I would encourage parents to do right now, all parents have access to Teacher Ease. And I know many of you are on there a lot, and some of you not so much, maybe just when it's time for registration in the spring. So I encourage you today, tomorrow, over the weekend, log into your Teacher Ease account. Make sure you know the password. If you don't, you can click the link Forgot Password, because it is looking like that's what we're going to be going to take attendance once Teacher Ease has that up and ready. So that way you're prepared when we say, okay, today or tomorrow or the next day, you'll start taking attendance through Teacher Ease. You're set to go and you can get into your child's account.
Right. If your student has not logged into a Google Classroom yet, during these 10 days, I suggest you make that a formality today. It's super important that we get that rolling and started, and if we have issues right now, we can find them pretty quickly. Anybody can log in from a phone. Absolutely. There is, we've had a lot of conversations. We've been doing actually Zoom conferences from phones. It's amazing what a phone can do. And then as we get to that point where we're passing out the Chromebooks, it'll get easier for you. And those also have video capability. And it says, Mr. March, Justin March, just logged in and said, download the Google Classroom app onto your phone, and that will make it super simple. And again, I know Mrs. Kelly said it, that Mr. Jason March and Mr. Justin March have been the behind the scenes guys who have really, holy moly, are they busy getting everything ready for the school. Mr. Pierce is behind the YouTube channel and the daily activity list. He's doing a phenomenal job. I can't even tell you how amazing this has been.
A question to address report cards. We said that the third quarter would end April 3rd. I believe was the date, right? April 3rd.
Yes, Friday,
So
April
we are
3rd.
not going to be mailing report cards at that time. Again, all parents have access to Teacher Ease, and you will be able to log on and see your child's grades. Now, we will cut it off at the end of next week, but then we have to have teachers import grades and get the final grades up and in. So, you might not see their final grade on Friday. It would be the following week that you would be able to see their grade for that class. A question about fourth quarter report card, we've gotten that, but again, at this time, we've had conversations about that, but as far as any information from the state right now, tentatively, we're looking at coming back April 8th. If that changes, we would definitely get that information out to you, but we can't give a definitive answer right now on a fourth quarter report card until we know what the future looks like for kids being back in school.
And then somebody asked if we could mention attendance again. We want you to check in with each of your teachers. So if you have a 6th through 8th grader, they need to check into each of their teachers' classrooms. If you have a K-5, they need to be checking in with their teachers daily. We will be looking at that. Again, we are not here to say that your student has to do 7.5 hours of work a day. Absolutely not. Once we get to MobyMax and we start loading that up, I do not, the last thing we want is for a kid to be sitting on a computer MobyMax program for 16 hours thinking that it's going to be the thing that matters the most. We want them to get a good education and move to the next level. They might get on MobyMax and start messing around with it and go on some subjects and see some things. There's interactive games, there's all sorts of things. They're all educational and wonderful. If they choose to do that, that is great. The teachers will tell you what the expectation is. And if you have questions or you don't understand or you feel like the communication, we need to something else, let us know. That's what we're here for. We are trying to make this interesting experience, an educational experience for everybody.
With the MobyMax at Blackstone, we'll be sending home a parent information letter on how to access it and use it. That'll come in their packets when we get the new ones out to you. It'll also be posted on our webpage as well. But we are giving you lots of ideas, and I think I said this last time. It's overwhelming how many resources are out there right now for parents at home and for kids, and even as educators, we're getting overwhelmed with all of the emails and posts and things like that. Here, check out our program, check out this. Our focus is going to be Google Classroom and MobyMax, and for the younger kids, the packets. Anything above and beyond that is up to you. We're not going to give you 10 different things that you need to do with your children at home. We really want to narrow it down. As far as the little kids, we don't want them on the screen all the time, so that's why we've had conversations with staff that we feel it's important that the packets are important as well. For things like strengthening their fine motor skills, practicing their handwriting, practicing their cutting, and things like that, and not just clicking buttons all day long. So at Blackstone, the MobyMax amount of time that we're going to say is required for students will be shorter, and we'll expect them to do the packets as well. But again, it's up to you at your discretion at home how much they do or how many different things that they go on or how long that they're on for, but we don't, you know, as Mrs. Daly said, we're not expecting kids to be in school, do school activities for 6 or 7 hours a day.
Less is more, but if they're really enjoying MobyMax or the materials, you know, and they wanna stay on it and do a little bit extra, encourage it.
Yeah, this is all about, everybody taking care of each other and asking good questions, and keeping our frustration levels down. That's what we're trying to do. We've talked about what is the most important thing, and our what we've put out to our teachers is what is the most important thing for them to go to the next level, and that's what we should focus on. It's about keeping that connection with community and school. Whether we continue these Facebook Live weekly things, I'm not sure. We'll see what the impact is and what people want and need. We're trying very, very hard to stay connected with all of you. This has been difficult to say the least, mostly emotionally for everybody. I can guarantee you that the teachers are very much missing their students, as are we. There's no worse place than an empty school building.
Very true.
Yeah,
Yes.
we are,
There's no life in the buildings.
there is no life in the buildings, and it's very sad, and we are, missing our teachers, we're missing our families. We are, it's been very hard. We wanna get through this safely. We wanna celebrate our return when that happens. When we get more information from the state, we will put it out as soon as we do. If there's anything we can do for you or any family, please let us know. Once this Facebook Live, we end it, it does stay on our Facebook page for viewing. So if you miss something, you can go back and watch it, or you can ask any of your friends who happen to view it. We just want to tell you all thank you for the support from the parents, the teachers. Keep up the amazing, amazing
Doing
work.
great.
We are so proud to work with you.
Yes, we are.
And parents, I think it would be a nice gesture that when you get on email, send your teacher a positive note, a friendly note, thanking them for their hard work too, because they're really coming through in this tough time.
Absolutely.
And as much as continuing an education is important, I think in the gist of it all, it's very important, and we're very concerned about our students' health, safety, well-being, and you as families as well. This is a stressful time for our country, the world, our kids, our families, and just, you know, the education is very important, but please make sure that you're taking care of your kids and yourselves as well, because this is stressful, and it's unlike anything we've ever been through, and to me that's more important right now than anything.
Okay, I was going to do a brief wrap up, but I think Mrs. Kelly kind of said it all. Once again, we want to remind you that as of today, March 27th, at 10 a.m., this is the information that we have, and our district put these plans in place, and they can only be implemented with the awesome teachers that we have, so we appreciate that. We have so many people behind the scenes that have been helping with this, and we want to be there for you. Please reach out to us via email, leave us a voicemail. We are popping in and out, and we are checking. We want to be there for you and assist you in any way, and we will get the critical information out to you just as soon as we have it in our hands. But to reiterate what was said here just a moment ago, we ask you to please stay safe and know that we want everybody back in the classrooms as soon as possible, and I know our teachers miss everyone. So stay safe, and let us know what you need.
Bye.
Bye. We miss you all.